Welcome to our attendees. Thank you for joining us. Just going to give a couple of seconds for our other participants to join us, and then we will kick off our session today. Welcome. Perfect. Like we got the groups joining. Perfect. All right, I will kick us off. For the sake of time, we'll have a few more attendees joining us, but welcome everyone. Welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair. Thank you all for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. All attendees are welcome to use the Q&A button on your screen. Don't be shy. Ask any of the presenters any questions and they will answer you directly. All of your cameras are off and your microphones are off as well, so the panelists cannot see and hear you. So make sure you use that Q&A section if you have questions for them. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at shrivescan.com/BACS. All right. Excuse me, dog. All right, I'll turn it over to our first presenter from DePaul University. We have Annie Mills.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, there we go. Well, good evening, everyone. We're glad you're here joining us today. I'm Annie Mills, and I'm DePaul University's regional representative and an assistant director in our admission office. I'm based in San Diego and work specifically with students in California, Nevada, Alaska, and Hawaii. So diving into DePaul, we are a private Catholic institution in the heart of Chicago, Illinois, with an undergraduate population of about 14,500 students. So while we're a mid-sized school with big school resources, we're located in the third largest US city. Lots of sizable things about our institution. Your academic experience at DePaul will be really personal by design. Our average class size is 22 and 90% of our classes have fewer than 40 students. Our student body itself at DePaul is very diverse and reflects the diversity of our global community. 40% of our students come to DePaul from out of state, with California leading the way. 44% of our freshmen are students of color, and 35% of our freshmen are the first in their family to earn a college degree. And while we are a Catholic school, we say the DePaul experience really is as Catholic as you make it. We have students from over 40 different faith and non-faith backgrounds on campus. You might have guessed we're named for St. Vincent de Paul. He dedicated his life to ending cycles of poverty and ending cycles of social injustice, and we aim to really keep that Vincentian tradition alive. So if you're a student on our campus, we prepare you to think and act with others really in mind. We want to make sure you're using your higher education as a means to engage cultural, social, religious, and ethical values in service to others. Now, when our students are on campus, they actually split their time between two campuses in the city of Chicago. We have a campus in Lincoln Park, a beautiful urban neighborhood in the city, and that campus has a traditional feel with a quad, 11 residence halls, a student center, a big library. That's kind of all of those college tour checklists. It's where you'd be most likely to see a student going to class in a DePaul hoodie. A 15-minute ride on public transportation, you can see it listed on the bottom of the slide here, is our campus in the financial district called our Loop campus. Here, students will take elevators to class instead of walking across the quad. You'd be much more likely to see a student going to class maybe in a blazer, coming straight from an internship or planning to head out to an informational interview in the city with a recent Blue Demon graduate. Almost all of our students are going to take classes on both campuses. And when they are in the classroom, they'll be studying from over 300 different options. Some of our most popular programs are housed in our College of Business and in our conservatory style programs in theater and music. Our science and health focused degrees are very strong. We have accelerated options for students interested in medical related professions. We even have a way, several pathways to get into professional medical study, skipping those medical college admission tests. So I'd love to share more about that with you one-on-one. The College of Computing and Digital Media is our fastest growing school and is home to our most popular major, not only for incoming students, but specifically for incoming students from California, and that's film and television. Animation and game design are also there and popular too. And we do have honors options for students university-wide, business and health sciences specific as well. If you're undecided, you like a lot of things, no worries. We're very double major and minor friendly, even across schools and colleges, and we embrace change. So you can change your major as long as you're in good academic standing. Our students at DePaul are very involved on campus. We have over 400 different clubs and organizations to choose from. Students cheer for our NCAA Division I Blue Demons. They're involved in political, religious, and academically focused clubs. They participate in club and intramural sports, take advantage of outdoor programs like Free Fall DePaul, which is our skydiving club, and maybe get involved with Greek life as well. About 10% of our students are involved in fraternities and sororities. In one afternoon, you can meet with other students to plan Fest, our on-campus music festival, watch your friends on stage in a music or theater production, and then go sample at the local fair with the Pizza Club. To help our students get used to the city, all freshmen take a seminar in their first quarter called the Chicago Quarter Class. They go on site visits, explore the city using over 100 different topics as a lens. So you could take a class all about the Cubs, crime and politics in Chicago, improv in the city, art and public sculpture. In that last class, you go on group excursions to the Art Institute and the Bean, the most Instagrammed object in the city. But then you also get out of the loop in Lincoln Park and explore murals in Pilsen and get to know how the history of that community impacts the experience of its residents and then the art that they create. The class is a really great way to get to explore new neighborhoods and learn how to use the L in the buses, which will be really instrumental for your success at DePaul and in the city, but then also get to know the resources we have to help you be successful, like the Writing Center, the Career Center, and then our Center for Students with Disabilities. Speaking of outcomes in the Career Center, we're very proud of our students at DePaul. 6 months after graduation, 91% of our students are employed or continuing their education. And that's no accident. The Career Center is incredibly involved. They work with students all 4 years that they're on campus, and then you have unlimited access after you graduate. And then also all of our students are required to do experiential learning in their junior year. And that typically looks like an internship, study abroad program, or intensive community-based service learning project. So if this all sounds interesting to you, we'd love to have you eventually apply on the Common Application. We use a holistic application review process, which means just like Jefferson earlier this evening, if you can remember that far back, we'll look at your essay, resume, activity summary, letters of recommendation, in addition to your transcript, and then potentially a test score. We're very proud to have been test optional for 10 years for admission decision, but also for our academic merit-based scholarships and our honors programs. So if you are considering DePaul, really feel free to think about how you want to highlight your own strengths in the application. And if a test score doesn't reflect who you are as a student, or maybe you won't have one, that is no problem. So there are so many ways to connect with DePaul these days. There's lots more to tell you than what I covered here. I didn't really even mention housing, study abroad, the volunteer work our students do in the city. Please feel free to reach out to me and let me know what would help you as you consider DePaul. I'll toss my information into the chat, and I would love to take any questions you have in the Q&A. Thanks for being here, and I believe my colleague Amy from Chapman is next.
Perfect. Yes. Go ahead. Take it away, Amy.
All right, thank you so much, Annie. I love knowing about DePaul. Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Hammer, and I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission at Chapman University in Southern California. I'm also a proud two-time alum, and I'm excited to share with you a little bit more about Chapman. Some don't realize this, but Chapman is one of the oldest institutions in the state of California. We were founded in 1861. We opened our doors to both men and women, all religions and races, because we believed it was really possible for anyone to pursue higher education. We've really held that close to our mission as an institution ever since our founding. For those of you that aren't as familiar with Chapman, we are a medium-sized liberal arts pre-professional university. We have about 7,500 undergraduate students, which to me was that sweet spot where it felt like a small school but had big school resources. We have about 2,300 graduate students, ranging all the way from our law program to our health sciences and marriage and family therapy programs. The average class size for students on campus is 24. So again, it really is possible to have that intimate small school feel. We have programs ranging across 52 majors and 72 minors. Everything from our Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, which is ranked as the #4 film school in the nation, all the way to our brand new Fowler School of Engineering, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. So a lot of diversity in the programs and lots of opportunities to mix and match areas. So you're actually encouraged to study more than just one area on campus. We bring in students from across the US and across the world, and we encourage our students to also study abroad regardless of where they come from. And about 53% of our students take us up on that offer. Our mission is to provide a personalized education of distinction that leads to inquiring, ethical, and productive lives as global citizens, which all those different areas I think touch on in different capacities. In terms of our location, we're in the intersection between Los Angeles and San Diego and the beaches and the mountains, a prime spot if you like to go skiing and snowboarding. Orange County has over 42 miles of coastline, world-renowned beaches, and of course, Disneyland. It's a very tedious 12-minute drive, but also a lot of other fun attractions in the area. We're physically located in a more residential community, which really gives students the feel of having a home base, but obviously access to a larger metropolitan area. Very similar to different parts of the Bay Area from my experiences in comparing the two areas. But in and of itself, there's also a lot of professional opportunities in our backyard, over 50,000 businesses ranging from large Fortune 500 companies all the way to small startups. This is just a snippet of some of the companies that our students will either intern with or have postgraduate jobs with. This is funneled through our Career and Professional Development Center, which is a free resource for students and alumni. So you really are a Panther for life. In addition to that, every school and college has their own career advisor or career team that helps in advising students based off of the industry they want to go into. Because obviously, going into entertainment is going to look very different than going into the medical field than going into the dance industry. So we want to make sure that we're connecting students in a very strategic manner. On our campus, for those that might have had an opportunity to visit, this might look a little familiar for those that haven't. This is the center point of our campus, a tall piazza. It's a great central point for students to go and mingle. Of course, we're in Southern California, so we make use of our good weather. But like I said, we're one of the oldest universities in the state of California. I can attest as an alum, the university you see today is not the university that I attended as a student in the best way possible. We have constant expansion, constant redevelopment to make sure that we're ever changing and making sure that the programs and the facilities reflect the industries the students are going into. Most notably, the Keck Center is one of our newest buildings and one of our largest, dedicated to the sciences and engineering. Previous to the pandemic, we also opened a new housing complex for upperclassmen students. And in the fall of 2022, we'll also expand our dance program and have new facilities. So again, always new things happening on campus in the best way possible. In terms of the student life experience, there's a wide range. We have over 180 student organizations. One of my favorites is the Burnt Marshmallow Club. They get together and they go camping and hiking. But then we also have different dance groups. Our dance team are 12-time national champions for their division. So lots of opportunities in the performing arts and different types of interest groups. In terms of athletics, we are a Division III institution. And fun fact, we're the only four-year university in Orange County to have a football team. And in our last season in fall of 2019, we were conference champions. So there's always something to do. And I think that's a cornerstone of the Chapman experience, is that students are heavily involved, heavily committed into the community in a wide array of different areas. About 30% of our students are involved in Greek life. Now, in terms of applying, there's obviously so much more we could go over. We are members of the Common App, but just some helpful deadlines for you to have on hand. We have November 1st and January 15th. There are particular programs, and you'll see them listed in front of you there. Film production, screen acting, theater performance, for example, do have a November 1st priority deadline. So if you're interested in one of those areas, make sure that you submit sooner rather than later. And then also know, as part of the admission process, we heavily consider financial aid as well. Just by applying to the university, you're simultaneously reviewed for admission and merit scholarships. But we do have additional funding outside of that, particular programs or through the FAFSA for the need-based financial aid. Long story short, private schools can be heavily accessible, and we love working with students to make it a possibility. And wrapping everything up, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'll also drop my information in the chat. And I heavily encourage you to follow us on Instagram, because we're always posting different updates and doing Instagram lives. And again, we love connecting with you. So have a good rest of your night, and thanks so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amy. All right. We have Martin from Providence College up next.
Thank you so much. And having spent some time on Chapman's campus a few years ago for a conference, Amy is not exaggerating. It is absolutely wonderful. Again, my name is Martin Vaughn. I'm the Associate Dean of Admissions at Providence College. I also serve as the coordinator of West Coast recruitment, working with students sort of Oklahoma and all points west for PC. But Providence College is a private Dominican Catholic university, obviously located in Providence, Rhode Island. We have about 4,100 students in the undergraduate population, and I really feel that that size is really ideal. It naturally creates interaction with faculty and staff. It gets big enough that it provides a host of options for you, while also being intimate enough that you don't really ever feel overwhelmed. We are the only school in the country run under the auspices of the Dominican Friars. We have about 50 friars, as you can see, who live and work on campus in a variety of different offices. As you can imagine, campus ministry, certainly many faculty members, and even in the admissions office. And the friars are definitely an integral part of the PC experience. We love being located in the biggest city in the smallest state in the country, really in the heart of New England, just an hour south of Boston, about 3 hours from New York City. Providence is the state capital for Rhode Island, so that certainly opens up a lot of opportunities for students with regard to academics, co-curricular, certainly social engagement, and being just 2 miles from downtown. This really student-friendly city provides opportunities if you're a foodie like me, if you're a sports fan, certainly if you're into the arts or history buff. I really think Providence could be a great fit. One question I often get from California students is, how far are we from the beach? Second question, can I surf there? And yes, we're about 45 minutes to the best beaches in New England, in my opinion. That's Newport, Rhode Island, and of course you can surf. And our faculty are at Providence because they love to teach. Certainly they're doing research and are experts in their particular fields, but their priority is really the classroom experience. As you can see across these, our 3 schools, we have 53 majors and 40 minors from which our students could choose. Our largest single major is biology. However, we have over 40% of our students enrolled in the business school. You can see the 4 majors listed there. Doesn't include our 5-year MBA program. Providence was the first school in the country to offer a bachelor's degree in public and community service studies. I personally feel that our most unique program is our health policy and management major, but other notable programs certainly include creative writing, our biochem program, as well as musical theater. And I'm very excited to announce our new major in music technology and production. In a non-COVID environment, about 60% of our students participate in off-campus study. Certainly that could be your traditional semester, year-long study abroad programs, or we also have programs during what we call the Maymester, so right after graduation, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. And these are faculty-led research excursions that happen all over the world. Overall, 300 different options from which you can choose in 40 countries. So student organizations, what you do outside of the classroom is a big part of life at PC. Really, whatever you're involved with in school, it's likely we have it at Providence. Everything from our esports team to the Gaelic Dance Society to our outdoor adventure club. So there's definitely something for everyone. Intramural sports, definitely a huge part of life on the PC campus. We were voted the #2 school in the country last year for intramural sports participation by the Princeton Review, with over 53% of our students participating. And I know this may sound funny, certainly to students coming from California, but literally one of the best things I've ever seen in my life is intertube water polo on the intramural sports side of things. So while the official name of the city is Providence, I always refer to it as Friartown. We are Division I for athletics. We are members of the Big East Conference for all sports with the exclusion of our hockey programs, which participate in Hockey East. And our primary mascot, Dom, is annually voted one of the scariest mascots in all of college sports. So just want to talk briefly about the admissions review process. We are Common App exclusive at Providence. We've also been test optional for, I believe this is year 15 for us. So whether it be for admission, merit-based scholarships, or our honors program, there are no test scores required. The biggest driving factor, though, behind all of our decisions is the strength of your curriculum. How much have you challenged yourself in comparison to what's available to you at your school? And certainly the academic preparation and the experiences, co-curricular experiences that you have at Providence will prepare you for what comes next. Our Office of Career Education, I think, does a great job in working with students literally from day one to let them know that it's not too early as a first-year student to come by and have someone look at your resume, to start looking at research opportunities or summer internships, things like that. And in their survey, they ask a very direct question. I love the way they phrase it. And it's, are you working in the area in which you thought you'd be working given your declared major? Obviously, you can see that almost all of our students are or have found a job, I should say, in that area. And last but certainly not least, I don't think I can describe it any better than a recent graduate of ours, Danny, whose sister is actually just about to finish up her first year at Providence. And I truly feel that this is our hope and wish for every graduate of Providence College. I do hope that later this spring or certainly this summer, we'll be able to expand our in-person visit opportunities. But until then, I will post a link to all of our virtual visit opportunities and my contact information below. Thanks so much. And we are going to keep it in New England now. I'm going to turn things over to my friend Jesus from the University of Vermont. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Martin. How's it going, everybody? My name is Jesus Ramirez, Regional Associate Director for the Office of Admissions at the University of Vermont. Just like Annie and Martin, I'm also based in San Diego, which seems to be a hotspot for regionals. So if you have any questions, concerns, I'll be your admissions counselor through the whole admission process. At the University of Vermont, we're a public research institution with about 10,000 undergraduate students. In terms of academics, we have a lot of different majors, anywhere from the arts and sciences, business, engineering, and every single program is a direct entry program. So if you know what you want to study, you can start working right away. Otherwise, there's plenty of different options to choose from. Some unique programs at UVM include our animal sciences for students that want to go into becoming a vet. We have a bachelor's, master's, and a PhD in food systems. So we take our food very seriously. And we are very passionate about environmental studies. That is a program that you can study at 3 out of the 7 colleges at UVM. Fun fact about UVM, we're the 5th oldest university in New England after Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, and Brown. But if you've been to our campus, you'll see that a lot of our buildings are actually pretty recent. A few years ago, we opened our brand new residence hall right in Central Campus, which hosts our wellness environment. A couple years ago, we opened our STEM facility, which will be a great space not only for our students in the engineering program and sciences, but also our entire student population. And we're in the process of building a new multi-purpose athletic facility, which we're really excited about. As a medium research institution, our students really like the fact that UVM is sort of the perfect size, where they're able to find all the resources associated with a large public research institution, but at a Vermont scale. Our average class is about 32 students, and our overall faculty student ratio is 1:18. And lastly, our students like the fact that UVM, they're able to find open and urban spaces. We're located in the city of Burlington, which is the largest city in the state of Vermont and a super fun college town. Mount Pelier is about a 30-minute drive, and Montreal, Canada is only an hour and a half away. But our campus is surrounded by the beautiful Green Mountains of Vermont and Lake Champlain, which offer great opportunities for both research and recreational activities. As a Division I school, there's many exciting things happening at UVM, athletics being one of them. We have 18 varsity sports for those of you who want to compete at a Division I level and represent our Catamounts. And we also have club sports, intramurals, we have a Greek system, and of course, over 200 clubs and organizations. But at the end of the day, what really excites our students is academics. Every single student will have an academic advisor, which will ensure they are able to find a 4-year pathway to success. Also, for those students that are wanting to get their bachelor's and master's within 5 years, we have about 40 accelerated programs for those of you who want to get your master's. At UVM, over 70% of our students come from out of state, which makes something which is pretty unique for a public research institution. And since we have such a large out-of-state population, our students build a really strong sense of community by living on campus in our learning communities. You'll be living on campus for at least 2 years, and every single first-year student lives in a learning communities. So these learning communities match your interests, whether it be inside of the classroom or outside of the classroom with your living environment. And they include anywhere from arts and creativity, cultural crossroads, and outdoor experience, among others. As you're getting ready for the application process at UVM, just like my colleagues, we use the holistic approach. So we take into account all the application materials that you submit. We're test optional for the next 2 years, and you can start submitting your application either to the Common App or My Coalition as soon as August 1st if you're a rising senior. At the point of admissions, you'll be automatically considered for a merit scholarship and also our honors program, whether you have test scores or not. Our merit scholarships are based on academics, so the stronger the GPA, the better scholarship you'll be eligible for. We also encourage all families to complete the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, to be eligible for additional aid. And to conclude my presentation, I'm often asked by students from Northern California to describe a typical UVM student, which is a little bit difficult just because we have over 10,000 students that come from all over the US and even internationally. But there are some commonalities among our student population. The first is that they're very engaged with their academics. They come to UVM because they want to be able to conduct research as an undergraduate student. The second one is that they're very active, whether it be during the summer, sunny months, hiking, swimming, or during the winter months, snowboarding and skiing. Our students are always love the outdoors. And lastly, they're environmentally conscious, whether that's something they want to be study in or just be exposed to. Our students want to use their academics to make a more sustainable world. So if any of these attributes resting on where you're looking for a college, perhaps UVM might be a good choice. I look forward to answering any questions that you might have. And from New England, we'll go to the Midwest with Oberlin. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Anna Richardson. I am an admissions counselor at Oberlin College, but I am also an OB myself. I'm so very excited to be here. I'm not the regional rep for California, but I am from Oregon, so I'm the West Coast, Best Coast feels. I'm here representing Oberlin, which I'm very proud to be an alum of. I'm going to put some links into the chat real quick so I don't forget. The first thing is the Oberlin Can Take You Anywhere. So that's like our general brochure you might get if you visit campus. Diversity and equity and inclusion at Oberlin is a thing that I got to make, and it really just highlights different communities and the way that we support DEI on our campus. And then the last thing I sent is how to sign up for more information. So hopefully you'll like what I say here. So I'm going to screen share. This is an aerial video of our campus, and I'm just going to like talk over it as we go. So here we go. All right, so Oberlin College is, oh, if it goes full screen, there you go. Oberlin College is located in Oberlin, Ohio, on the native homelands of the Erie people. So it's around 45 minutes from downtown Cleveland. I know some California people might be like, where the heck is that? Where am I going? To my surprise, when I came here as a student, around 95% of our students are actually from outside of the state of Ohio. So it is a really, really different environment. But we are a private liberal arts college that was founded way, way back in 1833, the college and the town together. So when you walk around our college, you won't see any gates or anything separating our outside community of the bigger Oberlin and the college. We're also the first college to admit folks regardless of race as well as gender. So that's something that happened way, way back in 1833, over 90 to 100 years before any thoughts of that had ever happened. When you are thinking of our size, we are small, but we like to call ourselves a big, small school. So we do push towards 3,000 folks that are on our campus. And we also have a world-renowned conservatory that is a part of our campus. So what that means is we have folks who are enrolled in the Oberlin Conservatory pursuing musical degrees. And we have art and science students who are pursuing one of our 80 different majors that we have at Oberlin. But we share rooms, we also dine together, the clubs are together. So the only thing separating conservatory students is where they actually go to practice, where they actually go to perform. So it really does aid in making this environment where music is really, really lively. Even if you're a STEM person or you have any interest in music or you like listening to music, I've gotten to see Lizzo come to campus 2 years ago. I saw SZA, Kendrick Lamar has come. Lots of big name folks come to little old Oberlin, Ohio. Even though we are a small town, I literally hardly ever left campus. There's so much to do with over 200 different student organizations, 500 concerts, different things happening during the year, and that's in a school year, so not including the summer or anything like that. When you're thinking about the setup of our school year, we are on a 4-1-4, so 4 months in the fall, 4 months in the spring, and the month in between is winter term. So winter term is something that you get to basically make yourself. However, there is some guidance with our winter term office. Some professors will offer research or many different opportunities for that. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely reach out. But outside of that, around 75% of all of our students study abroad. We have really, really strong outcomes in science and computer science and art history, because we do have an art museum on our campus that has the third large collection on any college campus. We also have art rental. So for free, our students are able to have an original piece in their dorm room. That means there are Picassos, there are Monets, there are Dalis, and we've done it for 60 years and we've never had anything stolen, never had anything damaged. And of course, we are our own insurers for that. So we're really happy to say that OBs do love art and appreciate it. And that's just one of the really cool things that we do have. For class sizes, most of them are under 20. You have really, really close relationship from your professors, even from your freshman year. You have the option to take a freshman seminar, which is just 14 folks with a professor. You have a writing associate. They make sure you know all the ins and outs of what you need to do, as well as just starting in a super, super small environment. So you're gonna get a lot of that really intentional attention at Oberlin, with around 60% of our students doing research. We don't have any graduate students at all. We have close to $5 million from the National Science Foundation, as well as 20 other active grants on our campus to actually do research. And then I'll pause this here. And in return, in regards to outcomes, Oberlin has great outcomes. Obviously, that's what the parents like to hear about, what happens after. But our students leaving 1 year after, 91% are already hired, working nonprofit or a current job. For med school, it's around an 85% acceptance rate, which is double the national average. If you are someone who wants to go on to grad school, we have around 85% of our students getting to at least their first and second choice. And then for folks getting in general, it's around 95%. So really good outcomes. Plus with career communities, we have a system where you are guaranteed a paid internship if you do decide to go into one of our 7 divisions. So if any of this stuff sounds interesting to you, definitely reach out, learn more. This is just me scooping up the surface. We are a school that meets 100% of need, and we do give out merit, Common App, Coalition App, no application fee, test optional, no additional essay. So everything is pretty straightforward when it does come to the application. But I would love to chat more about it. I will put my contact information in here, and I'd be happy to connect you to more folks in our campus or some current students too. So thank you. And then we got last but not least, and I don't remember who is the last person, but I'll hand it off to you.
Thanks. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Cool. All right. Good evening, everyone. Last but not least, it is 11:32 p.m. Eastern Time. Hi, I'm Heather Selby. I am an admission officer for the University of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia. I'm going to do things a little bit differently here and play a 4.5-minute video for you all that provides a nice overview about academics, student experience, and outcomes at the University of Richmond. And once the video finishes, I'll pop back on to tell you briefly about our admission process. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the video. I hope you enjoy.
It starts within you. An idea, a passion, a desire to change the world and a drive to challenge yourself. It starts within you, and it leads here to the University of Richmond. Located on a beautiful 350-acre wooded campus just minutes away from downtown Richmond, we are a private university that gives you the best of both worlds, all the economic, professional, cultural, and social resources of a capital city, coupled with the vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community of our suburban college campus. From pristine Atlantic beaches to the Blue Ridge Mountains to our nation's capital, our central location can readily connect you to world-class cultural, recreational, educational, and professional opportunities. But it's the opportunities available right here on campus that are truly impressive. The University of Richmond is home to 3 undergraduate schools: the School of Arts and Sciences, the Robbins School of Business, and the Jepson School of Leadership Studies. However, there are no direct entry programs for any of these schools. What does that mean for you? Well, there's no pressure to immediately declare your major. Once you enroll, you'll have time and access to explore more than 100 majors, minors, and concentrations. Our average class size is only 16 students, all taught by real professors, no teaching assistants. We're also committed to undergraduate research and mentorship opportunities. That means you'll get the kind of personal attention you need when narrowing down your choices. Can't decide on one major? No worries. More than 2/3 of our students pursue multiple areas of study. We admit the most talented, accomplished students. Then we do everything we can to ensure you can bring your talents here. That includes meeting 100% of demonstrated financial need for all admitted students. When you're not in class, well, that's where the vibrant community we mentioned really comes into play. Over 90% of our students choose to live right here on campus. We're also home to more than 180 student organizations, from academic, cultural, leadership, religious, and honor societies to fine and performing arts, service organizations, and Greek life. If you have an interest searching for something a little more competitive, look no further than our intramural athletics or the 17 teams of our NCAA Division I Richmond Spiders. The Richmond experience isn't limited to what you can do on campus, though. 67% of Spiders study abroad through more than 70 programs. And when it comes to internships or research projects, we won't just encourage you. We can help you fund them.
Sorry, everyone. It was
All right, sorry everyone. It looks like Heather's screen froze. We'll just give her another second to see if it comes back. Oh, sorry, everyone. It looks like we lost Heather. It's the internet, and so Zoom life now. Sorry. All right, so we have a bit of time left. So actually, because for the sake of time, I do think that we have to start wrapping up. So I will ask all of the panelists to turn on their cameras again, and then we'll just ask y'all a couple of questions. One of the first questions is, what is your favorite tradition or event on your campus?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll kick us off. So
Oh,
at
go ahead.
DePaul, we're on the quarter system. So our students take finals 3 times throughout the year. So in order to kind of incentivize that, reward them for all of their hard work, we do a midnight breakfast to kind of kick off each finals week. We actually even were able to make those happen virtually. We created a recipe book of favorite pancake recipes, finals comfort food week recipes, things like that. And then students could kind of tune in live and request a pancake artist to make really specific pancakes based on the things that they're interested in or wanted to see. So pretty cool, very neat. And we are really looking forward to doing it again in person here in the fall.
Awesome. One of my favorite traditions is homecoming because that's also our parents' weekend. So it's exciting because for a lot of our first year students, it's the first time they've seen their family since going away to college. We do a large cookout in the piazza, which is one of the images I showed earlier in the presentation. And we also have a chili cook-off. And so people can participate and they can compete against each other on who has the best chili recipe. And then, of course, we have the football game, which usually involves fireworks at some point during the night. So it's almost like we're bringing a little bit of Disneyland onto our campus. It's just a really fun event. Obviously, right now, it's not necessarily COVID friendly, but I am excited for the eventual return of that in some capacity.
So I think I've got a couple of examples, but I will narrow it down to one. And I think one of my favorites is probably our Midnight Madness. We don't have football at Providence. I'd like to say we've been undefeated since I think 1972 or something, something like that. But we always tend to have a pretty big concert or guest kicking off the Midnight Madness and the intro to our men's and women's basketball team. So it's gone from 4 years ago, Shaquille O'Neal was our guest DJ to not last year, but of course, but the year before, we had John Legend perform at pretty much a sold out Dunkin' Donuts arena. And of course, I was here and not in Rhode Island where I could actually attend it. But things like that really bring the campus and the community together are definitely some of my favorite traditions.
Wow, hearing about pancakes, the chili, and Midnight Madness has made me a little bit hungry. So one of my favorite events at UVM is our Cheese and Dairy Fest. As you probably all know, Vermont is well known for our dairy products. So ice cream, cheese, maple syrup, they're all super delicious. So every year in February, we have this big festival where farmers from Vermont bring their local cheese. Ben & Jerry's, which was founded in Burlington, Vermont, also has endless samples. And so it's just a really great way to spend your day eating cheese and ice cream.
And I will go last. So obviously got to give a shout out to Jerry, who is an OB. So we get some good Ben & Jerry's too every now and then. Luckily, I got to talk about art rental already, which is a super big Oberlin tradition. But my second favorite, actually, I think this is my favorite. We have a tradition called drag ball, which of course we didn't get to do this year. But in the 1980s, when Oberlin finally made like a trans and queer like awareness week, they put on this big party to celebrate it. So it's like a very large, like gender bending, non-conforming like party where like, well, it's a party. It has like a fashion show and we bring in drag queens and they pay, and there's other students who also go in drag. And so it's just a really nice event that happens every year, and we bring in all different types of folks. But it definitely speaks to the environment of Oberlin. It's definitely somewhere where you can discover yourself as well as just be yourself and have opportunities to do that in safe ways. So yeah, thanks.
Right. And so another question for y'all, because we have a couple more minutes. What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? So we will start again. Yeah, Annie, go ahead.
Perfect. So my typical piece of advice harkens back a little bit to the exercise you did earlier this evening, which is just to make sure that you realize that there are many, many pieces that go into your application, and there's so many points of information that we'll have to learn about you, some of which you may not see before we actually see it, like those letters of recommendation. So don't get too caught up on one piece. Take your airplane up to that 30,000-foot view, look out over your application, and make sure that you're represented in some way in all pieces of the process.
And I'll just kind of go off of what Annie said and make sure that you're not leaving anything to our imagination. Fill in the gaps. You are going to be your best advocate. If you don't feel like you yourself are going to be able to describe a situation or a context, that's where you can lean into those letters of recommendation. So find folks that are really going to help us better understand any challenges that you've had or things of that nature. So I completely echo everything you said, and then that little bit too.
So unfortunately, my piece of advice is really hard for students to do right now, and that is showing us a fit to a particular academic major. Obviously, we've, for the most part, been homebound for the last 13 months or so, but I think it's really important in your application, if you are, for example, interested maybe in education, to somehow, as your history and English teachers always say, show us and don't tell us. Show me that you have some sort of connection to education, and whether that is, shadowing a teacher at your local elementary school, teaching in your Sunday school, at your church or parish or synagogue, something like that. Obviously for, many of our students that are interested in business, you're not going to have that opportunity to have started your own business or company or anything like that. But there's got to be something, could be as simple as it is what your parents do, and that's what you talk about around the dinner table, and that's what first sparked your interest. But showing us that fit to major is really, really key part of the process.
Yeah, and sort of elaborating on the fit to major, it's also important to have a good fit with a university. And now that we live in a virtual world, it's a little difficult to travel. Hopefully, when it's safe to do, we're able to travel again. But definitely reach out to the admissions counselor from your territory. Every single, or most universities, I should say, has an admissions counselor for your territory. And the summer is a really great opportunity to connect with that admissions counselor, send an introduction email, because the rest of the year it becomes a little bit hectic. So don't be afraid to connect with the university.
Yeah, and my advice is pretty general. Everybody else's advice is very great as well. In the college process, I feel like, at least when I was in high school, I would think about, names of schools, I never heard of that before. Don't count any place out, especially now in the virtual world. We have so much access to so many different things that we've never had in the past. So really do take advantage of those. If colleges have interviews, that's a great way. An interview isn't always just about oh, this kid is going to be admitted or this kid is not going to be admitted. It really is to get to know you a little bit better, but also for you to ask any questions that you might have about the school and get a better feel of it. Also reaching out to current students. They're in most offices, I would say, they have actual current students who work for the office who are excited to talk to you, and it is their job to do it. So what I would say is really use all the resources the college offers to figure out what is the best fit for you. There is somewhere out there for all of you. So I just want to make sure you feel good about where you're going and what you're doing. So.
Perfect. Excellent. And that is a wonderful way to wrap up our session today, because we are finishing off now. So thank you everyone for joining us today. When you close out your windows, there'll be a quick link that comes up for a 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate it if you give us any feedback. And in about a week, this session will be available on strivescan.com/BACS. And thank you again to all of the presenters, and everyone have a lovely evening. Take care all. Bye-bye.